All right, so how do we get the water to our customers and ensure it's high quality? We have about 100 wells throughout the valley that supplies our customers with the water. And a well is just a straw into the ground, and it has louvers in the casing of the well, and these are the louvers right here, and that allows the water to enter the well casing where the pump is to have the water rise up to the surface. And this gravel along the outside is engineered and sized perfectly to ensure that it doesn't go into the screens and it holds back the sand. So hopefully most of the sand won't go into the well, and the water passes through the gravel and goes up into the well. And in order to clean this gravel, because our sediments are all different sizes, fines and pebbles and gravel, so we got to develop the well to get those fines out of it. So in the process of building, constructing, and developing the well, we're cleaning those fines out so that we then have pure water coming up. So that's a typical well. The location that we put them in. We have hundreds of monitoring wells. There's a picture of one there to the right that we monitor for all different types of constituents, not just ones they regulate, but ones that might be regulated in the future. When we put in a well, we want to make sure 20 years from now, that well will be able to provide a cost-effective water supply to our customers. And water quality is a big part of that. So location, very important. We have a fault going down the middle of this valley, San Andreas Fault. And when you get close to faults, water quality can change. There's heating, geothermal, upwelling, so the sediments dissolve into the water. Those are the minerals that we find in the water. And the sediments are made of all different types of things, from metals to salts. So you get close to a fault, you see different types of water quality. Highly mineralized water, like in Desert Hot Springs. We have mineral water, hot mineral water, and that's related to the geothermal activity, the faults that we have in the valley. So very important when we're locating our wells to be aware of where those faults are and what the water quality characteristics are. Here's a well going in, and that's the drill rig that goes up to drill the well. And we are currently putting these screens in, we're targeting between 1,000 and 1,300 feet below ground surface. The water typically is only about 200 feet down. But we want to go down deep to find the best quality water, one that we think will meet the water quality standards long into the future if possible. Sanitary seal around that well after it's drilled. You're required to put in a 50-foot concrete sanitary seal to protect it, to make sure things that happen at the surface don't go down into the well. We put in a seal that's up to 900 feet thick. So we're going over and above the Cadillac of wells to, again, ensure water quality. Storage. Well, what's storage got to do? We have about 60 of these reservoirs on the hills around us, and that provides the tap water is pumped up to those reservoirs for storage. And it's important for water quality, too, because it maintains pressure within our system. For example, if we had an outage, power outage, we could lose pressure. You lose pressure in the pipes and things can enter into it. We have pipes, 2,000 miles of pipes out in the streets, undergrounds. Contractors can dig them up. We can have leaks. So you want to make sure that you maintain that pressure. As long as you have pressure, things aren't going to enter it. So that's an important part of water quality. And there to the right, this is a finished well, by the way. This is a typical well house that we have. Provides some sound buffering for the well pump that's inside. And this goes into a manifold that then enters into the distribution system. A very simple process for the typical well. Here is one of our pipelines. Again, the best materials that we install. The integrity of the pipeline is also very important for maintaining water quality. We don't want leaks, we don't want breaks. We want to ensure that integrity. So those, often they are ductile iron steel coated with concrete on the inside and on the outside. So expensive pipes, but they last a long time and they hold up better for earthquakes, earth movements. So we have your dollars have gone to invest in the best of infrastructure to, again, ensure water quality. Let's see. All right, lots of monitoring. We have a state-certified laboratory down in our Coachella office. We do over 15,000 tests to ensure that water meets all of those standards. And the testing starts at the well. We have over 100 different parameters that we test for at the wells, at the source. Pumps out into the distribution system. More testing out in the system. You want to make sure that water quality that you get from the well isn't changing by the time it gets to the tap water. So we have to do different types of tests out in the system, weekly, up to weekly for those tests. I've got a slide on what we find, but we do look out in the system for bacteria. Bacteria is a very important thing. Our water is not sterile. It's not a hospital sterilized water. So there's bacteria, naturally forms of non-harmless bacteria. It's a common component of the water that we extract. So regulations are set to ensure that there are no harmful microorganisms in the water. So those tests primarily are for that, to ensure the microorganisms aren't a problem and to check for the disinfection that we do. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Home taps. Here's a gentleman collecting samples at a home tap. We have targeted homes that meet certain criteria, kind of the worst case scenario for testing what your home plumbing might do to the water. Our homes typically have copper pipes, may have lead solder if it was constructed before 1986. Well, lead and copper can have health effects at too high levels. So we're out there ensuring that the lead and copper is not leaching out of your home plumbing. And why would it leach? Well, remember, water is the universal solvent. Universal solvent. It dissolves everything. You pour it in a glass, it's dissolving the glass very slowly, but it dissolves everything. So it dissolves pipes. And in fact, the reason it doesn't dissolve the pipes, is because of the minerals that occur naturally in the water. So that calcium and that magnesium, those water spots that you have on your shower doors, those are the minerals that are making sure the water doesn't dissolve your pipes. They put a nice coating inside the pipe. The EPA has deemed us to have optimized corrosion control water, and that's because of those naturally occurring minerals that occur in the water. You don't want it to distribute or deposit too many of the minerals. It might plug the pipe. So there's an optimum. You want to have just enough to coat the pipes, but not to plug the pipes. And that's what we have, naturally. Anybody know what one of these are? See them alongside the roads? See, they're all over the place. Those are backflow prevention devices. So when we deliver the water to the home, we want to make sure it doesn't come back into the system. Because things can happen in homes. We don't have control over what happens in homes. You might have a hose that doesn't have an anti-siphon device. We may lose pressure in the system and it could suck water back into our system. You might have a nursery that has their own well on the property and that well isn't approved for drinking water use. They might be adding fertilizer to their water system for the nursery. We don't want that water system, which might be operated at a higher pressure, to come back into our system. So we have over 7,000 of these devices throughout our water systems, again, to protect the water quality we're supplying. Lots of reporting. Living in the state of California, EPA will do their regulations, and then California Department of Public Health will do their regulations. So we have to comply with both, and often California's regulations are more stringent. Lots of reporting to ensure the water meets those standards. We do an annual water quality report each year. Hopefully you've seen it. It comes in our annual review, provides kind of a summary of everything that we find in our water, the testing that we do what levels are approved and what levels are found in the water.